I feel like my girlfriend is using me for my money and doesn't love me the way I love her. What should I do? My girlfriend is a university student and, as such, doesn't have a lot of money to spend. On the other hand, I have a full-time job and have been diligently saving over the last year in hopes of moving out of my parents' place either late 2024 or 2025. However, I've noticed a troubling pattern in our relationship. Every time I visit my girlfriend, she always wants me to buy her something. At first, it was just flowers and the occasional meal, which she used to help pay for. But now, I'm the one who always pays for meals, some of which cost around £50, even though I ordered just one thing worth £16. Moreover, she's been asking for more expensive things that are starting to eat into my savings. The last time she asked for something expensive, and I told her it was too much, she responded with, "Yeah, but you've got money." I've been used before in the past for my body and money, and I'm starting to worry that it's happening again. While she tells me she loves me, I'm beginning to doubt her sincerity. I feel like our relationship is becoming increasingly one-sided. As time went on, the disparity between my contributions and hers became more pronounced. It wasn't just about the money. It was the lack of appreciation and effort on her part. While I was willing to support her and understood her financial constraints as a student, it began to feel like she was taking my generosity for granted. Every date night, every special occasion, I was the one footing the bill. I started to feel more like an ATM than a boyfriend. I tried to talk to her about my concerns. I expressed how I felt our relationship was becoming unbalanced and how her constant requests for expensive items were affecting my savings. Her reaction was dismissive, as if my feelings and financial plans didn't matter. She assured me that she loved me, but her actions were saying otherwise. It wasn't just the financial aspect that bothered me, it was the emotional toll. I felt unappreciated and taken for granted. I started to notice that she rarely initiated any plans or showed interest in doing things that didn't involve spending money. Our conversations became more about what I could buy for her rather than our shared experiences or future plans together. I confided in a close friend about my situation, hoping for some clarity. They suggested that I take a step back and observe how she reacts if I stop indulging her expensive tastes. So I decided to test the waters. The next time she asked for something pricey, I politely declined and suggested we do something cost-free, like a walk in the park or a movie night at home. Her reaction was telling. She seemed less enthusiastic and even a bit irritated. It became clear that her affection was closely tied to the material benefits she received from our relationship. This realization was heartbreaking. I wanted to believe that our connection was genuine, but the evidence pointed otherwise. I knew I had to make a decision. I deserved a partner who valued me for who I am, not for what I could provide. It was time to have an honest and difficult conversation with her about the future of our relationship. With a heavy heart, I decided to have a frank conversation with her about my feelings and concerns. I chose a quiet evening when we were both relaxed to bring up the topic. I started by expressing how much I cared about her and valued our time together, but I also shared how I felt our relationship had become one-sided and how it was affecting me emotionally and financially. Her initial response was defensive. She accused me of being stingy and not understanding her needs. She insisted that if I truly loved her, I wouldn't mind spending money on her. This reaction hurt, but I stayed calm and reiterated that my concerns were about the balance and mutual respect in our relationship, not just about the money. I asked her to consider how she would feel if the roles were reversed and she was always the one paying for everything. Wouldn't she feel taken for granted? I also pointed out that I had financial goals and dreams, like moving out of my parents' house, and that her constant demands were making it difficult to achieve those goals. She finally seemed to understand the gravity of the situation. She apologized for her behavior and admitted that she hadn't realized how her actions were affecting me. She promised to be more considerate and suggested that we find more cost-effective ways to enjoy our time together. I was relieved by her willingness to acknowledge the issue, but I knew actions spoke louder than words. Over the next few weeks, I paid close attention to her behavior. There were small improvements. She started suggesting free or low-cost activities, and she even surprised me with a homemade dinner one night. However, I couldn't shake off the lingering doubts. I needed to see consistent effort and genuine change. I wanted a partner who was with me for the right reasons, not just for the financial benefits. As the weeks turned into months, I continued to monitor the dynamics of our relationship. I hoped for a genuine shift, a realignment of our priorities, and a deeper connection beyond materialistic desires. Initially, there were promising signs. She seemed more engaged in planning cost-free activities, and our conversations were more balanced, focusing on our future rather than her next expensive request. One weekend, we took a trip to a nearby hiking trail. It was one of the best days we'd had in a long time, filled with laughter, deep conversations, and a sense of partnership. I began to think that maybe we could overcome this hurdle. However, these moments of genuine connection were often overshadowed by her occasional lapses into old habits. For instance, during a casual outing to a shopping mall, she impulsively asked for a designer handbag. When I reminded her of our agreement to be more mindful of spending, she pouted and became distant for the rest of the day. These instances, though less frequent, were stark reminders of the underlying issue. During this period, I also took the opportunity to reflect on my own actions and feelings. I questioned whether I had been enabling her behavior by not setting clear boundaries earlier. I realized that part of building a healthy relationship was not just about addressing her actions, but also about understanding my own needs and communicating them effectively. I decided to seek advice from a therapist to gain a better perspective on the situation. The therapist helped me understand the importance of self-worth and mutual respect in a relationship. They emphasized that love should be a two-way street, where both partners contribute equally, not necessarily in financial terms, but in effort, care, and respect. Armed with this new understanding, I sat down with my girlfriend for another heart-to-heart conversation. I shared my insights and reiterated the importance of mutual respect and understanding. I told her that while I valued our relationship, I needed to see consistent, genuine change for us to move forward. She seemed to understand the seriousness of my words and promised to work on it. However, only time would tell if these promises would translate into lasting change. I knew I had to be patient, but also firm in my expectations. I was prepared to make difficult decisions if it meant finding a relationship where I felt truly valued and respected. Months passed, and there were noticeable improvements in our relationship. She began contributing more, not just financially, but emotionally as well. She planned thoughtful dates, celebrated my small achievements, and showed a genuine interest in my goals and dreams. It felt like we were finally moving towards a more balanced and loving partnership. However, there were still moments of tension. Occasionally, she would slip back into her old habits, making expensive requests or becoming distant when I couldn't meet them. These instances were less frequent, but served as reminders of the challenges we still faced. One day, we decided to take a weekend trip to a nearby city. We stayed in a modest hotel and spent the days exploring local attractions, enjoying street food, and simply enjoying each other's company. It was during this trip that I realized how much I cherished these simple, genuine moments. They reminded me of what I truly valued in a relationship: companionship, mutual respect, and shared experiences. On the last night of our trip, we had a deep conversation about our future. I expressed my hopes and dreams, and she shared hers. We talked about our fears, our pasts, and what we wanted from our relationship moving forward. It was a heartfelt conversation that brought us closer and made me hopeful about our future. Returning from the trip, I felt more optimistic. I believe that with continued effort and understanding, we could. She's asking for more expensive things that eat into my savings, and the last time she asked for something and I told her it was really expensive, she told me, yeah. But you've got money. I've been used before in the past for my body and money, and I'm worried it's happening again. She tells me she loves me, but I'm starting to doubt that, and I feel like it's a one-sided relationship overall. Lately, I've noticed other behaviors that are making me question her intentions. Whenever I talk about my plans to move out and save money, she seems disinterested or changes the subject. She rarely asks about my day or how I'm doing, and our conversations seem to revolve around her needs and wants. It feels like I'm just a means to an end for her, rather than a partner she genuinely cares about. Eve also started to observe how she behaves around her friends. She boasts about the things I buy for her, and they often joke about how lucky she is to have a boyfriend who spends so much on her. It makes me uncomfortable, as if I'm being used as a status symbol rather than being appreciated for who I am. This situation has been affecting my mental health as well. I find myself constantly stressed about money and our future. I had dreams of building a life together, but now I'm not so sure. Every time I try to bring up these concerns with her, she brushes them off or accuses me of not caring about her. It's a frustrating cycle, and I'm starting to feel trapped. I've talked to my friends and family about it, and opinions are divided. Some say I should give her the benefit of the doubt since she's a student and might be under financial stress. Others believe she's taking advantage of my generosity and that I need to set boundaries to protect myself. I'm at a crossroads and unsure of what to do. On one hand, I do love her and remember the good times we had together. On the other hand, I can't ignore the growing feeling that I'm being used. I don't want to be in a relationship where I'm not valued or appreciated. If I confront her about this, I worry it might lead to a big argument or even a breakup. But if I don't, I'm afraid I'll keep losing more money and emotional energy, feeling more resentful each day. I want a partner who loves me for who I am, not for what I can provide. So, what should I do? How can I approach this situation in a way that gets to the truth of her feelings and intentions without causing unnecessary conflict? How do I protect myself while also being fair to her? I've started to notice more red flags that are making me question her intentions even more. For example, whenever we plan to go out, she insists on going to the most expensive restaurants and shops. If I suggest something more affordable, she gets visibly upset and makes me feel guilty for not wanting to spend money on her. It's becoming increasingly clear that her expectations are not aligning with my financial reality and goals. Additionally, there have been moments when she has shown a lack of consideration for my feelings. For instance, on my birthday, she didn't put much effort into planning anything special or giving me a thoughtful gift. Instead, she expected me to take her out and spend a significant amount of money on dinner and drinks. It was disheartening to realize that she didn't reciprocate the same level of effort and care that I consistently put into our relationship. Recently, I discovered that she has been talking to her friends about my financial situation in a way that makes me uncomfortable. She shares details about how much money I have saved and how much I earn, as if my financial status is a topic of casual conversation. This makes me feel exposed and used, as if my worth in the relationship is tied solely to my bank account. Despite all these concerns, I still care deeply for her and want to believe that our relationship can improve. I remember the early days of our relationship when things felt more balanced and genuine. I miss those times and wish we could go back to that place. But as things stand now, I need to address these issues head on. Eve decided that the best course of action is to have an open and honest conversation with her about how I'm feeling. I'll explain my concerns and set clear boundaries regarding finances. I'll tell her that while I understand she's in a difficult financial situation as a student, it doesn't mean I can or should be responsible for all her expenses. I want to see if she can understand my perspective and make an effort to meet me halfway. If she reacts defensively or dismissively, it will be a clear sign that our relationship might not have a future. However, if she genuinely listens and shows a willingness to change, there might be hope for us. I need to see that she values me for more than just my financial support and that she is willing to contribute to the relationship in other meaningful ways. To prepare for this conversation, I'm planning to write down my thoughts and concerns so that I can express myself clearly and calmly. I also intend to suggest practical solutions, such as budgeting for our dates and finding ways to spend quality time together without breaking the bank. I hope that by approaching this discussion thoughtfully, we can find a resolution that works for both of us. Ultimately, I want to be in a relationship where I feel loved, appreciated, and respected. If my girlfriend can't offer that, then I need to be brave enough to walk away and prioritize my own well-being. It won't be easy, but I deserve to be with someone who values me for who I am, not just for what I can provide financially. In the meantime, I'm focusing on maintaining my financial goals and self-care. I'm spending more time with friends and family who support me and encourage me to make the best decisions for my future. I've also started exploring new hobbies and activities that bring me joy and fulfillment outside of the relationship. And hopeful that this situation will lead to personal growth and a better understanding of what I need in a relationship. Whether it works out with my current girlfriend or not, I know that I deserve a partnership built on mutual love, respect, and understanding.